Thanks a lot for taking out your precious time and come over here in such a large number. So, going on the 6th research week, and this is the second day and third presentation of the research week. So today, the topic I'm going to show you, probably all of you already aware of it, all of you probably masters in it, but we just try to re-discuss how to do it and how we can write a graphical abstract, and a small part of it, how to write the highlights for any of the research. So my name is Sohaib, and I'm working in mechanical engineering department in Faculty of Engineering. Although you know myself, but I'll go a little bit for a basic introduction, and then I'll move forward. So I did my PhD in 2010 from Manchester, MPhil in 2006 before that, and BE in 2002 from NED University. After that, I have almost like 3 years of industrial experience and like nearly 14 years of research and teaching experience. So in that time, I also spent some time as a research fellow in Swinburne University, Australia, and it was a great experience. All right, so what we are going to currently, see. That means somebody is paying attention. Thank God. So what is the outline of this? As I said, it's a very simple way of simple topic. You just look at the graphical abstract. You'll see how the graphical abstract is, what is the importance of the graphical abstract, how we can make graphical abstract. Some of the journals, now it becomes mandatory to submit the graphical abstract. We look at how we can write highlights of the research. So it can be highlights of the thesis, a research report, or a paper. So we will discuss some at the end. Once we go to these discussions, at the end, I'll go to some softwares, okay, and look at some of the digital applications that can help us to improve the graphical abstract, okay? And we'll see how we can, I'll discuss a little bit how we can get the importance in writing the highlights, okay? So 2 things we are covering, graphical abstract and highlights. Examples will be provided, and at the end, I'll do some live demonstration of some of the selected software. So what is a graphical abstract? It's basically a very concise visual summary of what you have done, usually just a single picture, single graphical component in which we need to put all the aspects of it. There are no hard and fast rule for the graphical abstract. You can decide what you want to put in it, what you don't want to put in it. But just like the summary, it has all the components of, if it's entirely up to you, if you want to put research gap, experimental procedures, outcome, conclusion, and all these things. We'll talk about them in a moment. So it provides you a very concise way the moment you see it, and you can, I'll give you some examples without going to read the whole paper. We get some idea of what this paper is or probably talking about. So why we need a graphical abstract? Why these publications are more and more putting, some journals allow you to put the graphical abstract as optional. They must want to have it, otherwise they do not accept the paper. So why it is important? It provides a very quick review to the reader. It can give you the very quick information, enhance the visibility, because now the journals are also competing with each other for their readability. How many people are reading, how many people are following the journals. So if the information, if it is, let's say, 15-page long paper, but just a one snapshot giving you some idea, the chances of reading those papers and chances of citing those papers increases. For individual authors, it's a good thing, but for the publication companies, it's the best thing because it will improve their impact factor and all these things. So enhance the visibility across. Sometimes people who are from the journal background, they share these visual abstract as well. For example, giving some quotes, they share it. So when they share it, usually they do not share the whole scientific thing, but that part is shared across multiple platforms, even on TikTok or Facebook. So the readability increases to the journal audience as well. And yeah, that's the meaning of the wider decimation of the information. So importance of graphical abstracts in high impact journals. So See, these high impact journals, they are much more focusing on it because they know the information going to publish in those journals are particularly very area specific. If they remain the area specific and less people are working in that area, their readership will be low. If their readership is low, there is a chance that the citation will be low. So it attracts attention. So now, not all, but most of the journals have X handle. They have websites on Facebook where they just put this, they share these graphical abstracts, which increase the readership, which increase the citation. Citation means at the end of the day, the impact factor of the journal, and so on and so forth. Communicate the key message, just like the whole theory behind the open access is that more and more people should get access to the science and technology. So if we have a graphical abstract, it can also send the information, send the message easily and visually. Enhanced journals visibility, it's the same thing. And the graphical abstract is also sometimes called visual abstract. So it's the same thing. You can name anything you want. All right, so the basic component, this is, I took it from medical science thing, all right? But it will give you some idea. We'll focus it more on the engineering shortly. So the graphical abstract will give you a key summary, key questions you want to be addressed, then some part of the outcome. If there is any citation, for example, the paper itself, you can put the citation. Sometimes it's made by some other companies for media as well. So they usually write their names, like it's been offered by, or someone else make this. The outcomes, visual display of the outcomes. So any graphics that can help without properly reading it, if we can understand this thing, and the comparison of the different outcomes. It will give you some idea about how this one single snapshot, one single slide can give the whole set of information. So the key component of this graphical abstract is the main concept, whatever the main concept of the idea, basic key findings. We need to put the minimum text as possible and use the graphics, icons, pictures to support the information. It should be clear and simple. In engineering, although the graphical abstract we made, none of them is clear or simple. They eventually, because the moment we go through the revisions, we say, oh, we need to put that information, we need to, and eventually it becomes pretty complex. But it has the whole set of story in it. And then the consistent style and coloring are also very important. It should be eye-pleasing. Keep it simple, difficult, but you can do it. Use the color effectively, so you can use the different set of colors, but they should be not like a very yellow or red, something like that. Follow the journal guidelines. So many journals which require the graphical abstract, they provide the very simple guidelines and we can follow it. Ensure the scientific accuracy. Sometimes we go beyond the information in the paper just to make sure that everybody understands it. It's not good. So all the things which are representing in the paper should be there, and everything should be clearly labeled. So if you put something like a computer screen, so you put, okay, this is a computer to connect with this, just to make sure that everybody can follow it. And something which may not be very helpful is too much detail, poor color choices, or very dark colors, which makes it difficult to read, because these graphical abstract is available on small screen like mobile, big screen like laptops, and prints as well. Of very complex graphics, I'll show you some of the graphics which we made. You can say it's complex, but it tells the whole story. But if it is too complex, then the readers cannot follow it, and the whole purpose, what we discussed, will not be, they will not be able to get it. And ignoring the journal requirements, so there is a possibility the reviewer will say, okay, update the graphical abstract just like the normal abstract. This is a very simple example. You can see it over here. It's for the generation of the biogas. So you can see that they just give a very quick information. The treatment is there. You have this acid. It will go either to the EC process or precipitation process, then go make something like this, do a very interesting. So you can see it's not necessarily be square or rectangle. You can make any shape, any shape you want. So this is a graphical abstract of what we submitted in the paper recently. So you can see it over there, what we say it's simple, it's not pretty simple, it's become a little bit complex, but if we dissect it, then you can see how the information is flowing into it. Because if it keeps on going, the arrows, it can become too big, too wide, rectangularly, so we have to put all the information in a single place. So you can see it over here, starting from the mixing of nanoparticles with the resin. You can see it will go through the mixing process, then it will go for the ultrasonic mixing, then we put it in the vacuum to remove bubbles, then put it in the room to make it mix. So all these set of information which goes around the other pictures is nothing but just the materials and procedures or methods or processing details. It's entirely up to you, just like the text you write it, it's entirely up to you want to make it in the one single row, make it bigger, or you want to make it round, just to have this compact set of information at one single place. Once we talked about this, so this is the procedure and how it is going to do, then some of the important issues, problems that basically required to support the results. So in this case, for example, the aging is the issue. So you can see there's some aging of this. In the original paper, this figure comes with the caption. So you have all the information in the caption. Here we do not have a caption. So what we need to do is we need to label it. So we'll label it additional labels. So you can see that there's some space available over here. So all these ideas. And at the end, the results. So you can write the results. Okay, when we do this thing, this is the effect. These are the values. These effects causing the strength change in the composite. So these are the results of the strength. You can write more conclusion as well, that okay, this is the biggest one, or for example, you can see it over here. Once it comes from this side, we put the information that what kind of duration we used, how many, what was the magnitude of the ultrasonic mixing and things like that. So you can put all the information at one place and it will gather the set of information. It looks very complex, but it has all the set of story, the complete story, starting from the material methods to some problems. But the paper has much more than this. So it's entirely up to you how you want to put the set of information. As an author, we want to highlight only this part. So we decided to put this much. But if you think that no, you need to have to go to more set of information, then you can put extra information as well. For example, this second one, we are still in the working phase. So this paper is about corrosion inside the pipes and use inhibitors, natural inhibitors, to avoid those corrosion. So this is going on. It's still like one of the authors send it back to the second author, they write the notes, they send it back. So just like a text in which all the authors contribute and they say, oh, change this information to that information, the graphical abstract also needs to go through the phases of or versions of draft of information. Every time they go through it and update it simultaneously. You can start with a basic idea, and to create a basic idea, you can also give the abstract to some AI, and AI will generate some. But whatever the AI will generate, it's useless. You cannot use it as a graphical abstract at all. But what you can get is the initial idea, and then you can reform that initial idea to make it a better one. This is another example which we recently published. It was before the AI, so the basic idea came from the hand note. We should have this information, this information. Based on this, we make version 1, and then after that, we can keep updating. And looking at it, okay, this information is missing, that information missing, and then this is the final version, which you can see it over here on this. So you can see it over here. So it's like a form of art. Every single set of information has some meaning in it. For example, this blue box is telling you that there are two things. One is a treatment urea, and one is a sludge. So before the urea, there is a kitchen waste. It makes one thing, then plus sign with the sludge, and then all these things, which is a blue and green mixed together to form anaerobic digestion and create biogas. So apparently, this looks very funny, but basically everything is representing the set of information that how you are going to mix, what things you are going to mix. And this represents the optimization. The optimization outcome is there, the optimization go on this side as well, so that we can change the concentration and see whatever we are getting. And once we done this thing, then we get the maximum yield of the overall process. So what is the like a purpose of graphical abstract? Without going into much detail, even if I'm not that area, I can see the workflow, I can see that how the things are moving around, what are the procedures followed, and what are the outcomes. Graphical abstract is very close to infographics as well. So not only you can provide about the research, you can provide more information, like this one. So in 2021, I generated this hand sketch that we should make about the faculty, and then we made this one in one of the research week, and then this is transformed. So you set make the basic set of information, it transform, and this here, you can see the number of papers increased a lot in Faculty of Engineering and all this. So you can make a whole, rather than writing a 2-page summary and set of information, you can present that set of information in the form of the graphics, which is easy to digest, easy to understand, and very easy to follow. Any question from the graphical abstract?
Sometimes some journals, they are asking you to not use the images or figures which is inherent in the paper itself. Don't use it in the graphical abstract. Do something very new.
Yeah. Mostly till now, what we submitted, we use those pictures in a different form, but use the similar pictures, because if you give a totally new set of pictures, yeah, it can give some problem. But till now, we did not face this issue. Maybe they want to give a completely new set of information because they keep it as a part of the paper. So, but for us, for my experience and other people experience, we usually use this plus some additional figures, but not like a totally new set of figures. In that case, you have to redraw some idea. All right, no question at all. So we'll move to the highlights. Just like a graphical part, the highlight is the summary in the text form. So the highlight is basically a bullet point summary of the key take-home message from any research report, research work, paper, or anything. Why we need to put it is provide a snapshot of the finding. Again, a very quick summary in few words. Helps research engine index key information because these research index, they do something like they took the words from the abstract, title, and keywords. So if you miss any of the important keyword in the abstract, in the title, then it should be covered in the highlights. Increase, as again, because if it will increase into indexing, then probably when you search it, it's available in search easily. So it's increase the engagement and readability of the paper. So what are the ways of doing it? Concise, 3 to 5 points. So usually the journals define this thing as well. You should give 3, 4, 5 points. There is no such rule of 85 characters, but usually most of the journal, they follow this rule of 85, 90, or maximum 120 characters. Use active voice, like this has been we do this thing, or we got this conclusion. Highlight the key findings. So in the highlights, basically its name is highlight. So we need to get the key results of it, key finding of it. If you allow that experiment, the machinability will increase 5%. So that's a key finding of it. How it is increased 5%? Then you have to go through the whole paper. Avoid jargons like specific words, for example, CAD, or for example, anaerobic digestion, we use AD. But because the highlights may be separate out from the paper, so it's avoided. Write the full statement of everything you want to write. Simple. For example, this is a bad example then, that you have two variables, X and Y. So we studied the role of X and Y using, so you just studied what is the outcome. So probably the better way is X regulate Y, X variable regulate Y through the Z method of signaling or something processing. Second one, the result shows X is important. Yes, it is important, but what, compared to what? This statement is probably incomplete. It will not give you the highlight properly. Our finding contributes to the further understanding. Of course, every single paper contributes to the knowledge and research. So this is like did not give any specific set of information. On the other hand, You can see the novel mechanism identify ABC as a pathway of the future work or something like this, or potential application in the wastewater treatment. So you can see, all right, this is a potential application. So it means something new has happened for the wastewater treatment. Just by the sentence, you can get this idea. Common mistakes is either it's too long, so that you don't need to, that's why this 85 character or 90 character things, don't go too long on it. Vague statement, this will give you the future direction. What is the future direction? So that generalized statements is not good. And mostly if you take help from the AI things, that AI mostly generated statements which are just generalized. It can be fit on 6-7 different scenarios without even changing comma or full stop. So you need to write it specifically to that research. Overuse of the technical term, too many technical terms in the highlights will also decrease its effectiveness. So you need to talk about the basic things and the basic outcome, or just simply duplicate the abstract. So in abstract, there is a different way of writing abstract. You write a research gap, then what you have done, methodology, then finding, then conclusion. So if you just put each statement out of it, it will not give you the effectiveness of the highlights will not be there. All right, this is a very interesting abstract. So you can see it over here. They are telling about the electric buses in the city without charging. And this one tells you, it looks like a atom, but it's not atom. It's just showing that this is a downtown or the center of the city, and it goes around this. So this one, we don't know about the paper, by the way, just looking at the graphics. They say the gray one is not selected, so it will go charge and then move around. And this one, red dots, they are randomly selected based on their own. So minimize life cycle cost. Of course, if this bus will go complete the loop and then come to charge, it has to go sometimes on the way, nobody is sitting in it, just going for the charging. Here it says when it's required charging, it will go closer to it, charge itself, and then move on. So it seems like really it's minimizing the life cycle cost, greenhouse gases, energy, this, and then further you can go deeper into it. So just a basic graphical set of information, extremely good abstract, which gives you the immediate outcome or the procedures they follow. It means that if you want to go into detail how they select this red one, why they skip this, then you need to, of course, go into the paper. But overall, it gives you an idea. For the same paper, you can see the highlights as well. Life cycle optimization of wireless charging infrastructure for electrical buses. First statement, almost all concepts are clear what we are going to expect, the set of information from this paper. And then the further that multi-objective optimization like greenhouse gases, emission reduction, so on. So you can see on one single slide, you get everything. Sometimes we ask our master student to present the thesis in 10 minutes. They say, oh, how can I present a thesis in 10 minutes? It's too less time. How come it's too less? You can, one slide, you can get the whole idea. So it requires to make it in a proper manner, then you can complete the idea you want to present. All right, so that's the conclusion what I said till now. The graphical abstract is basically enhance the visibility and impact, keeps visual simple, clear, professional, no clutter, very simple. Research highlights should be short, focus, to the point, and follow the journal specific requirement. If you follow the journal requirement, the things will be very easy. All right, any question? Yes.
I have a couple of questions. At the beginning, you were talking about the graphical abstract should have maybe research question or the main question to be answered. But most of the examples did not have that. So actually, when you look at the graphical abstract, no, this is like the best of it. From my understanding, this is the best. If you look impact of treating iron deficiency, I know exactly what's the question, and then I can see the finding and the results. But all the other examples, if you're not familiar with the concept, you don't really know what the biogas stuff or the nanoparticles. You have no idea what's the research question or the main outcome of the thing. This is number one. Then number two, maybe this is very useful for experimental, those who work on theoretical aspects who have never been asked for any graphical. So if you are working on something theoretical, how would you well, yeah, maybe survey papers or systematic reviews are better. But sometimes you work on a research question, but it's actually solved theoretically, basically. So how would you do an graphical abstract for these types of things?
That's it. Very difficult question.
For example, I'll give you look at the example for the nanoparticle stuff. If you go to that slide,
Yes.
Can you go to the slide?
I'll show you this first. This is the basic component. And as I said, that
Sorry.
is Dr. Zan, who was with us. I get some time to think. All right, so this give you the basic. That's why I put it over here, although it's from the medical sciences things. But as I said, in a graphical abstract, just like the normal abstract, you need to make a decision. What do you want to basically highlight? For example, in this one, which you were saying, this one.
Yeah, it became clear when you added this stuff.
Yes. But otherwise, in this area, there's so many publications already happened. This is a very well-established area. If you go more deeper into it, then you miss the point of this like surface analysis. And what is the effect of if we have a poor surface and the strength to surface. This is the basic argument in that paper. So this is how you sometimes miss this completely, one of the component. But whatever you want to highlight, just like the text, that's your decision. Is it answer?
How about theoretical things?
For theoretical things, if you go to some very basic physics journals, which allow optional graphical abstract, you will see some of the journals, they give you the basic ideas in a very specific format, just like a flow chart. So they make a flow chart. When I demonstrate, I'll show you some of the flow charts. In the flow charts, they tell that, okay, this is the initial theory, we build on this theory, and then we got this theoretical result. So it's more like a flow chart which tells us there are 3 different theories, our model based on 3 different theories, and we come up with a simpler model or something like this. So in that case, the flow charts are usually very important. Now I'll go to the live demonstration. So I'll give you, I think you all will be shocked to see that there is no PowerPoint over here. So because you guys are already very expert in PowerPoint. So we'll go to the software EdrawMax, find the graph, BioRender, and draw. All right.